I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans losing patience with this Alexander Isak saga, but I gotta be honest, for me, I think all of what's going on right now is absolutely normal given what's going on in the market. There's been this report from Luke Edwards from the Telegraph saying that Newcastle won't sell Alexander Isak and that they'll force him to stay. But if you listen to Eddie Howe's words from his press conference yesterday, it's clear to see that that's absolutely not the case, or else he would be playing in their first game of the Premier League season against Villa, and Eddie Howe said he doesn't think he's going to be there for that. And if there's a player that you're able to get on board, he absolutely would be ready for such a big and important game. You know what I mean? He definitely doesn't have an injury, that's for sure. But the reason why I think the way everything has moved is completely normal is it's just clear to see that Newcastle need to bring in their replacement before they let him go. And one of the reasons is because depending on what the fee will be, clubs will be able to ask way more money. I mean, already they probably can, but even worse, if they sell Isak first, they'll be put into a really difficult situation. Not to mention that the strikers they've tried to go for so far, Joao Pedro, most recently Sesko, but there's been others this window that have said no, that have rejected them, has meant that this deal is, dragging on a lot longer than probably we hope for. But at the end of the day, it's the same situation. Isak does not want to play for Newcastle, and Liverpool still want him as a dream signing. So even if it doesn't happen this window, I'm confident it would happen in the next one. But I do still think it will happen in this window. And the main reason I say that is because I think Newcastle are in a very difficult situation right now where if they do force Isak to stay and say, listen, you have 3 years left, even if you told us you wanted to leave, we'll let you go next summer, they could be in a and then they could be in a situation where Isak says Liverpool might not be in for me next summer, so you're blocking me of my dream move to go to a team that could win the Premier League and the Champions League this season, which of course Newcastle can't do. And if they do that to Isak, so I'm saying the forcing, then that can unsettle the entire rest of the team. Look at Bruno, who is a top player. Tonali, these players that maybe can get a Real Madrid call up one day, or Barca or Liverpool, and they're seeing, their own teammate be blocked of that dream. A dream that Newcastle can't offer. As good of a project it is right now in Newcastle and as good of a season they had last season, there's just levels. There's levels. Liverpool from 10 years ago, I agree. But Liverpool today, it's I think, top 4 club you want to be at in world football. Because if you seriously look at if we can compete for the Premier League or the Champions League, I truly think we can. And he'll be thinking, I can be fed by Florian Wirtz and Mohamed Salah, two of the brightest creators in world football. How would Isak not want to be part of that? It makes absolute sense. But like I said, I think Newcastle are going to be in a situation where they're eventually going to be forced to let him go. And my hope is that we find an agreement that's between the initial £110 million bid that we first made that was rejected and their initial asking price of £150 million. I think probably the agreement will be found somewhere in the region of 130 to 140 million pounds, somewhere in between, because of the situation. But first, like I said, Newcastle will have to get Wissa in. They'll have to get another striker. I don't know who that's going to be yet because of the rejections. But once that happens, I think the green light will be there and Liverpool will send in another bid. And from there, I think it'll move very quickly because it's been reported by the most reliable journalists that, for example, personal terms for Isak and his camp are going to be no problem, as in agreeing wages, fees, all of that stuff is going to be no issue whatsoever. The only thing that's making this move not happen right now is just Newcastle closing the doors and not accepting a fee. That's it. But once those 2 strikers come in, I think the door will have to be opened and they'll have to negotiate on a price, to let him go free. Let him be free. But yeah, guys, let me know how you're feeling about it. I understand in this day and age, it feels like we need everything to be now. And we don't understand when things we have to wait on things because everything is so fast in this modern age where we get every piece of info. But we also just have to be patient. And for me, the reason why I'm not stressed at all about this deal is A, because I believe whether we get him or not, we're going to sign a center back either way, which I think is our bigger priority. And B, if we don't get him, and let's say we get him next summer or in a future window, I think we're still in an incredible situation right now. And it would just give Ekitike that complete ownership of that center forward role, which I will back anyways, So no matter what happens, I'm going to trust the process because of how we're run right now, and that for me is incredibly relaxing, because if a lot of things were going wrong in other parts of the football club, I'd be like, why are we doing this and that? But for me, there's no reason to question this. There really isn't. And that's why I'm just patiently waiting, seeing the updates, but in no real worry, because at the end of the day, if we don't get him, I still think we'll have a fantastic season. If we do get him, it's obviously dreamland. It's like heaven for Liverpool fans. But like I said, if we don't get him, which could be a reality as well, then I still think we could go on to have a very, very good and historical season, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at with the, all the Isak talk, which I felt was worth a video today, just because that's all I'm seeing on my feed today after that, report from Luke Edwards from the Telegraph, and people stressed out, and just different reports coming out, But whatever happens, bro, this journalist, Luke Edwards, he needs to quit, I think, at the end of this window, because it's clear that whatever he's posting is Newcastle PR and it's not the truth, Just like how can he put out a contradictory article the very next day from official quotes from Eddie Howe from a press conference said the exact opposite? It just makes no sense, and it's so clear to see that it's just for an agenda. In this case, I guess Newcastle desperately hoping there's a chance he stays, and then on the other side of it, them hoping to get as big of a fee as possible. But anyways, let me know how you're feeling about the whole Isak situation, and how you think it's going to develop. But yeah, I'm sitting in full confidence, patient, and I'm just hyped, most importantly, for the actual season to get started, because we have the likes of Ekitike and Florian Wirtz who are going to start at Wembley tomorrow. So just the prospect of that, bro, my goodness, what a time to be alive. No matter what a time to be alive. There's just so much to look forward to, and that's why I'm just like bouncing in positivity right now, because now we're just less than a week away from the Premier League season kicking off, but then also this Community Shield, which I want to win because it's just positive vibes at the start of the season. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts, and as always, thank you so much for the support on this channel. I will keep coming to you with daily long-form videos, and the better they do, the more in the future it'll be possible to add editing and other things to it too. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, guys.